Hey guys, sometimes in gardening, growing vegetables, and for the most part life in general too, things don't go quite the way we would like for them to go. Our efforts just don't produce the kind of results that we would like to get, and we have to stop and take a look and reassess the situation and try to figure out, could we have done anything differently? If we had the chance to do it over again, what would we do different the next time? I showed my tomatoes in here recently. They had the blight just eating them up. I pruned all the leaves off of them, and looking, it's still working its way up. I try not to do the spraying unless I absolutely have to. If I had sprayed more often earlier, I probably could have kept it under control, but in trying not to do so much spraying, I got behind. The blight got the upper hand, and basically I'll probably end up with about 20 pounds of tomatoes for each plant. Nowhere near what I thought I could have gotten. Certainly a lot of people would be satisfied with 20 pounds, but I think I could have done better. To keep from having to do so much spraying fungicides, and it doesn't matter whether it's the commercial stuff or spraying organic, anytime you can get away with not having to spray something, you're going to be better off. One of the things that you can do to try to help your plants is use compost tea. For my radio show last Tuesday night, I had to do a lot of reading, getting all my stuff together about the fertilizers and things, and I had a chance to do a lot of reading up on the compost tea stuff. And everywhere I looked, I mean, there was nothing but good things to be said about it. As far as a nutrient for your plants, you know, helping your plants do what they're supposed to, a soil fungicide to cut down on the bad stuff in the soil, and also when you spray it on your leaves, if you're putting those good bacteria, if you get your leaves of your plants covered with the good stuff, it's hard for the bad stuff to take hold. I know all of this stuff, and I know about the benefits of compost tea. I've used it some in the past, and I kind of got away from it. I've done tea in the 5-gallon buckets, and that works okay, but I need a lot of tea for all the kind of gardening stuff that I do. I even had this drum set up one time and just had everything put inside of it, and I would dip it out the top, and I kind of got away from that too. So after seeing the results of the tomatoes and sitting down and doing a lot more reading about this stuff and understanding the importance of it, I'm going to try to kick it back in gear and force myself to use everything at my disposal. So what I have done here was taken my drum, set it up on some cinder blocks. I put a valve in the bottom of it. I got it up high enough where I can set a 5-gallon bucket up under this thing, and I got 2 bags in here with some composted manure in it. I took 2 of my 5-gallon paint strainers and put them in here. Got one that's got the goat manure in it, and then the one on the other side, I went and got some of the rabbit manure outside and put in it. So I got 2 good bags of composted manure in there, pretty well composted. I dumped about a half a jar of grandma's molasses in here, got my air pump hooked up. I'm going to let this thing run pretty much 24/7. I can come in and change out these bags once in a while, add some more grandma's molasses to it, keep this thing bubbling, get me a 2 or 3 5-gallon buckets at the bottom of it when I need it, strain it a little bit, spray it on my plants inside, put it around the base of them, feed them in the soil, and do everything I can to use what's in my head that I know is the right thing to be doing. You can see she's brewing along in there pretty good. And usually they say with compost tea, you want to use it immediately. Don't go ahead and take it out of your barrel or your bucket or whatever and just let it sit around. Basically the bacterial growth stops inside. What you need to do is use this stuff within a couple hours or so when you take it out of the barrel, and go ahead and put it on your plants or put it in your garden or wherever. And with this situation here, with it running all the time, basically as long as I keep feeding it, you know, the sugars, which I use the molasses, you can use whatever. As long as you feed those bacteria, give them the sugars to feed on, you can keep this thing going for a long time. And like I said, I can just come in and change out these bags every now and then and freshen things up a little bit. And I should be able to have compost tea pretty much 24/7. At the bottom of the barrel, what I did was go ahead and drill me a hole in here. And I used a 1/2 by 3/4 male adapter. This is 1/2 by 1/2. The 1/2 by 3/4 has a much wider flange around the outside right here, and it fit my big rubber washer on the inside a whole lot better. Then I've just got a metal washer here and another 1/4 turn valve, and I can go ahead and just open this thing up, pour me a glass of tea. That's some good looking stuff right there. I ain't gonna drink it though. but the plants, they can have it. There you go. And it's just the right height for my 5-gallon bucket. I can open this thing up, get me a bucket of tea, close it, and ever so often I just go and top this barrel back off, freshen the sugars, the molasses, and just try to keep this thing going. And one thing about using air pumps, you see the elevation I have this pump right here. I really need to keep the water about right here, because if I bring the water up all the way to the top and then this thing, for whatever reason, the power goes out, that water is going to try to drain back and go into the pump. So really, that pump needs to be up here. I'll find my lid for this and probably mount it on top of the lid. That way I don't have to worry about it. But compost tea is very good for your plants, extremely beneficial for your garden, but there's something just a little bit better, and that is worm tea. There's something in the worm castings, I forget the name of it, but it's like a natural insecticide to help ward off the aphids, the white flies, and the things that just give you a fit, because they're so difficult to get to because they get up under the bottom side of the leaves. So anything that can help me along those regards, I need to be using it. Some of you guys have sent me links to videos about the worm farms and all that kind of stuff, and I watched them, and has just so many different ways to do this stuff, and I just never got around to doing it. So just like getting this thing set up, taking the time to put the valve in the bottom, getting in a position where I can use a lot more tea, I'm going to go build me a worm farm. I don't know whether it's going to be one of them wooden ones with a roll-out tray, or whether just go get some Rubbermaid totes and stack them up and try to go that route. But I'm going to do what I can to try to get me some worms going, and have that to be able to spray on my plants, and also to put around the base of them to help with the insect problem. Nobody said gardening was going to be easy, and it doesn't matter whether you're inside or outside, there's always going to be challenges. So I'm going to look at this thing and take it as another learning lesson, and a situation where I feel like I could have done better, and I knew some things to do that could have lessened the effects of the blight and made things a little bit easier on me, but I chose to not take the time to do them. So I have nobody to blame but myself, but I promise you I will be doing better next time. So I hope that was helpful. Y'all take care, and Lord willing, I'll see you next time. If you found this video to be helpful, informative, entertaining, or just downright funny, don't forget to subscribe.